Well, thank you for everybody for turning up this evening, and our visitors as well. So we've got a very good screen full. Apologies for absence, Emma.
I've had apologies from Councillor Peel and Councillor Sparks.
Right. Are we happy to accept those?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Right. Declarations of interests. I couldn't see any myself, but I will declare it if any of the items come up. Anybody else?
I live on St Peter's Road, which is in one of the planning sections.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. No. All right then. That's fine. Minutes of the previous meeting. So we had in attendance there myself, David Chappell, Ian, Jerry, Val, Peter, and Malcolm. So has anybody spotted anything wrong with those? If not, we're happy to put them forward. I'll nominate them, and seconded. Yeah, from Malcolm. All those in favour?
Okay.
Right. I think we've got everybody there, did we? Yeah, thanks. So those are signed, and I'll pass them on to you.
Thank you.
Right, public participation. So we've got a couple of members of the public here. Are you for participating or for observing?
I'm for participating and observing.
Right, okay then.
And observing for me.
Okay, thanks, Rebecca. Right. So, Robert, you want to participate? You want to say something now?
Yes, thank you. Really, I was just going to give a bit of an update following from the last meeting in October, 1st of October, which I spoke at. For those of you that haven't seen, my article was published on the 1st of December in the Oundle Chronicle. I just thought I'd say it seems to have made a difference. In the past week, I've reported 12 Fix My Street issues, and 9 of them are being actioned. So that's a success rate of 3/4, which is definitely an improvement on how things were being dealt with before. So hopefully within the next few weeks, we should see a big improvement and lots of work going on in the Oundle area.
No, for those who haven't seen and what Robert's been doing over the last few weeks, the most impressive member of the public, getting involved in using the system and making a protest, and he's done it very effectively. Yeah. And you've certainly given a few more of us an opportunity to get involved. Jerry?
Can I suggest we all bang one into Cambridgeshire County Council for the bit of road between Elton Junction and the Northamptonshire boundary, which they resurfaced all the road between Elton and Peterborough and ignored 200 metres between Elton and Northamptonshire, which is absolute minefield.
That's absolutely madness.
Yeah. Is that in Huntingdonshire? Maybe that's the problem.
Oh no, that's part of Cambridgeshire. Huntingdonshire isn't real, is it?
No,
their signs are real.
Well, yeah, but
and the other one that
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
No, it's absolutely crazy the way our system has been spliced up into these little pieces. Yeah. The other one, just Robert has been very hot on pavement quality, and in some of the discussions we've had, we've talked about the build standards of some of the roads and the adopted roads. One today that I was very observant of was the footpath up Hillfield Estate, which is absolutely falling apart. It's less than 10 years old.
The Hillfield Estate. Well, I live up here, so I've been particularly on that one as well. Yeah. They've agreed to do they've agreed to do some of the cracks, but not all of them. So I'll monitor that and make sure they keep on top of that one, because I walk it at least twice a day. So
yeah. Well, there was a very good example of a piece of highway that was commissioned incorrectly. It subsided all over the place because it hasn't got footings. So appreciate that, and there is an opportunity on that one with the cycleway when we do the upgrading for the cycleway to make sure it's done to a decent standard. Right, thank you very much, Robert, and welcome, Val.
Can I just apologise? As I was coming in onto the link, I got some spam thing came on and I couldn't get rid of it. Take the honest, I've just got it.
You're a spam.
And I hate computers. Hate them.
Can I just, well, Robert's there and everything else. One of the things I've noticed recently is a lot more, what's the word for it? When people dump stuff on the side. I don't know if you...
Fly tipping.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There is a very good website. I don't know if people know about it, where you can report it and they'll come and sort it out. But in virtually every day when I go and walk the dog, and I tend to go drive somewhere around Boundall, there will be some fly tipping somewhere. So it's becoming more of an issue. So on that sort of, not sort of quite the same subject, but similar, it's a council thing to deal with, and it's not very nice to see. It's worth remembering that there's a very good website that deals with it, and it's worth reporting it.
Yeah. Okay. Could you pass those details on to Emma, though, so she can get them on the town website?
Most definitely.
Thank you. That's very good.
And thank you very much, Robert, for your excellent work.
Yeah, well done, Robert.
See if you can get some of your mates to do it as well, mate, because I think young people being involved in that, to show that you have the ability to make changes, is a really, really good thing. And it's an important message to take away. Doesn't matter how old you are. If you use the system correctly, you can make a difference. So well done. And that's really good to see.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ian?
Can I just ask, Robert, you're going to be watching this even more often now, aren't you? Because you're now like the Chronicle correspondent. Is that right?
Well, I offered to cover this meeting, so I don't know about future ones, but possibly,
Cool.
don't know.
Good stuff. Well done.
Yeah. Well, and Robert, just a very, very quick one before we move on. The Chronicle is the best read out there. It's true, genuine campaigning journalism.
I'm really pleased with that. Yeah.
I'll pass that back to Miss Jolando, the
Absolutely.
librarian.
Absolutely.
I'm sure she'll be pleased to hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Right, so moving on to the next one then, we've got the consideration of requests from interested parties. There's nothing more on that. No, fine. Mayor's report, just a very quick verbal report. Most of the issues are in there. Just on the ombudsman and the complaint we originally had with it that went back in my own name. I have had a reply from them, and I've got more following up to do with them. So it's not the end, but at the same time, nothing wonderful coming out of the process. The St. Christopher's Drive item is later on in our agenda under planning, but just for you to know that I've made my own complaint again because the Ombudsman is not able to defend town councils. So I've taken that in my own name. South Road, just want to raise there again, there's some issues of parking been raised there, but I have observed South Road now because of the one-way system at the top of St. Arthur's Lane. South Road might need something doing to it pretty urgently, because it's getting quite crazy there with the amount of traffic that's been diverted down there. There's just the few things I wanted to say under the Mayor's section. Everything else is in the minutes. So we've got District Council report. So we've got both Rupert's written report and Rupert here in person. Rupert, over to you for a few minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think, as you said, that my written report has been circulated, so town councillors will have had a reasonable opportunity to read it. So rather than simply go over the ground again, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, anybody got anything from that? I mean, we've certainly been kept up to date with the actions, and particularly that point that Rupert made about the children that were coming out of foster care and the scheme that was running from those. And I know, although Peter's not here, Peter, has made quite a generous offer to that scheme. Yeah, so thank you, Rupert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm very pleased to hear that. In terms of the Northamptonshire Shadow Authority's draft budget, 3 points I'd like to make. First of all, it is a draft. it's about to be shoveled out for public consultation so everybody can make their own points. Secondly, we're still awaiting to hear what extra central government are going to give us. I dare say from some amount of the business rates that councils already collect. There's a measure of question mark in that. Thirdly, in terms of council tax ceilings, for the coming year, in the first year of life of Northamptonshire Council, they will be averaged across the whole of Northamptonshire. On balance, I think, given that there are these ceilings clearly stated, that's 1.99 as a whole, but on top of that, an extra slab for adult social care. So in all the circumstances, there will be some differences, but my bet is we can live with them. And in any case, I made it clear to Tom Postcard MP that we want to see some progress on greater retention of business rates by councils. Otherwise, and Tom knows that full well, although I haven't spelled it out, councils will be looking for more and more specific grants, which could put the Chancellor into a tizzy when nothing else seems to be able to do that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, thank you very much, Rupert. Yes, so there's an awful lot to be done there, and we need to get our voices into the presentation. Thank you. Right, so receive the update on the proposed cycleway on Glapthorne Road and Cotterstock Road. It's best to talk about this one. Yeah, Jerry, did you want to say anything, or? No, there's not a lot to say.
Well, I mean, I can say a few quick words, Emma. But I mean, I think Emma and I have both been in correspondence with Transition Handle as things have progressed. I mean, I think it's fair to say that the RTO contact is pretty frustrated by the way things are progressing. I mean, as is often the case with local government, things don't happen quite as quickly as you might like it to happen. So we're progressing. I mean, we've got a design now. It's costed as far as it goes, but we haven't got the full costings for all of the other associated bits. I think councillors are all aware that the money is in our account, so it is there to be spent when we do get a final plan finally costed. But it's all a bit vague still at the moment in terms of exactly how much and exactly when it'll happen. But it's that sounds very negative, but I don't mean to be too negative. It is going along. It will happen. It's great that we've got the support of Transition Handle on it, and we will get there. Is that fair enough? Emma, is there anything to add?
No, not really. I just think I think once we get all the full costings, the money that we've got left in the Section 106 money isn't going to cover it all. So we've either got to decide what we're going to do and what we're not going to do, or whether if the difference in money isn't too much, whether Oundle Town Council are going to put anything towards it.
Okay, just in terms of getting local feedback on this, do we need to be telling the people they're going to be affected, what we're looking at to stop any surprises later on in the process?
I think it's been fairly well communicated, Tony. I mean, there's quite a lot of information come out from Transition Handle. They've produced a hard copy as well as electronic stuff to circulate to people. I think if people had concerns about it, they'd have been making a noise. I would prefer to wait until we know exactly what we're proposing to do, and then communicate that in the Oracle or Advertiser or whatever to say this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does feel like we probably, when we get to that stage, we need some lamppost stickers, as they do with a normal planning application.
Yeah.
But
I would imagine that highways will also do some form of consultation going out to say this is what's going to happen. Yeah, but it was good, if it comes from us, it should come from us first. Yeah, rather than hide behind anybody else. Okay, then. Well, thank you, Jerry, and thanks for your perseverance. Right, receive the information regarding the 2021 census.
No, I didn't realise we were having one, but
Every 10 years.
Every 20 years.
20 is it?
It's 10.
It's always on
10
the one.
years.
It's
10 years.
Every
on the
10.
one.
It's 18.
It's on the one.
All right. So yeah, we've got some information there, Emma. You know, looked at it. It's a whole load of words. Is there anything we need to worry about?
And not at this stage. I mean, there was a booklet for councillors to look at. From our point of view, as we get more information, obviously, I think what they want us to do is to keep publicising it and putting the information out to all the people in Oundle.
Okay, Ian and Jerry. Sorry, I didn't know which order you came in there, but
I was trying to avoid doing some work earlier, so I read the leaflet for councillors, which seemed to be more focused on big and important councillors, perhaps, and asked about office space and car parking spaces. Is that something we need to be aware of, or is that really for Northampton?
Yeah, they haven't come direct to us, but they might do. I don't know. It depends.
And the other thing seems to be it's mainly online. Is that the way it's going? So in the end, it didn't mean that there's a lot for it to do anyhow.
There are still people in Oundle that don't have online.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Like in New Road.
and Jerry.
That was the point I was going to make, really. As I confess I haven't read through it all, but I skimmed it, and it did seem to be all about online. And I think where our biggest role could be is in providing help for people who aren't able to do it at home. You know, so via the library, via Fletton House or whatever.
Yeah.
To make sure that they've got
Yeah.
help and support to do it.
I've been looking at the jobs market for teenage people recently, and I know in Corby and locally they've been advertising for lots of census officers and support officers for census officers and work secretarials for. So I presume they're probably handling that already. But
yeah.
Okay, and Clive.
It's a good point there, Jerry. I mean, I think it's one of our reconnecting people back to the library again, so we don't actually have this continual what's a library for. We can make use of the library. That's going to be a great help, I think.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we've received it, and then the complaint from residents reference Herne Road car park. Emma,
Yeah, this is the long stay car park. There is an issue with tree roots that are breaking up the tarmac and are now almost shooting up in between and affect quite a few of the parking spaces. I know we talked before about maybe not doing any major work in the car park before, you know, not until before our lease is up, but I'm wondering whether we perhaps should consider looking at that.
Yeah, okay, we've got Val and then Jerry.
I just want to mention that it's not Herne Road. That's a wrong location. There isn't one in Herne Road. It's Herne Park Road, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, I know.
Yeah, right.
Just that these things are recorded.
you want them parking building one.
I'll make sure that the minutes it says park.
Yeah, okay, and Jerry?
I was just going to say, I know we said we didn't want to spend any unnecessary monies there, but I mean, that we've got a duty of care, haven't we, of making sure that is done. So I think we need to get someone in to look at that.
And I think, it's affecting some of the spaces.
Yeah. Well, we've got to do it sooner or later, and it's probably cheaper to do it sooner rather than later and let it get even worse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We should
well,
ask,
Emma, I know it's going to be
Fairline for some money.
Sorry, Clive.
We should ask Fairline for some money, as their employees use it more than anybody else.
Yes.
I'll let you do that, Clive.
So Emma, I know it's going to be a sensitive issue with the over the trees.
Yeah.
If we're doing
well, it might give us an opportunity to shut it for a bit while the work's done, and they won't be able to park there.
Anyway, over to you, Emma.
Yeah. Okay. I'll start looking into that.
Yeah. Right. And then a complaint reference parking and speeding on Glapthorne Road. And this assuming about the school, was it, or around the school?
Yeah, and I think it's around school times, and also with all the cars parking and people trying to pull out, and then you've got cars speeding. So Rebecca did speak to our local PCSO, and I think he's in an environmental audit. I'm not quite sure what that completely entails, but yeah, he has said if any member of the council wants to help him with it, then you're more than welcome to do so.
Okay. So there's an offer out to you all if you feel you can join in on that one. But I did read the report, and it's this. I think it's a common problem outside schools in the whole of the UK. Bad behaviour, which is compounded by appalling layouts. That they build schools without enough room for the drop-offs. Clive.
Just a point on this, on the speeding and this collective thing. I think this is an opportunity for us to sort of feedback to the community. I mean, the people that are speeding around it are the parents that have dropped children off.
Yeah.
And it should be something that perhaps we should go back to the school with and the parents associations, parents teacher associations, and say, look, a child's life is the most precious thing. If you're dropping a child off, you're dropping everyone's child off. And try and make it, just thinking about making it in a community effort rather than get out the speed gun, get out the make it punitive, but try a different tack and bring it in to a community-based thing.
Yeah. So Emma, is it possible to write to the chair of governors there and just ask for them to get involved?
Yeah.
Because as I read it, when they talk about speeding, they're not talking about people exceeding 30 miles an hour. They're talking about people driving at inconsiderate speeds where there are children and pedestrians around.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So Emma, if you could write to the chair of the governors there and ask them to do as Clive suggested. Right, moving on then to council matters and Emma's report again. Yeah, you're certainly doing plenty here, Emma.
Yeah, I mean, I've been at a couple of meetings, but not, mostly comms related. So most of the report is just more about the correspondence that we've had in throughout the month.
So I did like the one about the chap that wanted to be called Lord.
Yeah, I know.
Rebecca and I, yeah, actually I went on and had a look at it. It's like a, I don't know, some power station in the middle of the sea or something.
If you go to Felixstowe, you can see it clearly.
Oh,
yeah.
Nothing to do with our at all then.
But it's its own little entity. It's outside territorial waters, and the person there is a king, and he can give out titles. It's a really and it was the
strange.
Station. It's really weird. Just a block of metal.
Yeah, and a couple of compliments about our lights and the improvement.
Yeah, that's gone down really well. Facebook, lot of Facebook.
Yeah, we've had 4 more since this weekend. I mean, the design is exactly the same as last year.
I know.
I just think people, because one minute they weren't there, the next minute they were. It seems to be a bigger impact on people.
No, it's lovely. Yeah.
There's one other thing. Can I ask? We're now getting crime stats? Is that? I mean, have they suddenly come in, or is that what we had before? Have I just missed it?
We have to get that ourselves.
All right. Well, I asked the
PCSO.
I've asked them to do a monthly report. He said he would.
They won't do a monthly report.
Well, I just thought I'd mention it, but at least
you can go on the website and I can get it. Well, Rebecca gets it actually for me.
Okay. Thank you.
Right, in the rest of the document, is there anything that anybody wants to raise?
David wanted to say something.
I merely wanted to share that when I was in town over the weekend, I was stopped by former councillor Dalzell, who at least Val will remember, and he was extremely complimentary about both the tree and the lights, and said that he thought that they were putting many other towns of a far greater size to shame. And he particularly highlighted Corby, which made me feel very happy indeed.
Oh, it's very, very nice. No, I know, we have changed the budget a little bit on our Christmas decorations, and it shows, it is to be proud of. Yeah.
We certainly are. It's very nice to see.
Okay. Right, so unless there's anything else there, we'll move on to the next one then, to consider and approve the response to the public consultation on the housing allocation scheme.
Yeah, we had this at last month's meeting, then it went to the planning meeting,
Yeah.
It came from the planning meeting back to this meeting, but I don't know how much more has been done with it. And it's due in by, I don't know, I suppose midnight tonight.
Right. David, are we ready to go on that?
And the short answer is no. Emma's right, it did come before planning. The reality was that most of the planning committee hadn't had an opportunity to consider it. Those who had didn't have any very strong feelings. The kind of discussion we had was that it may, in the circumstances, end up being more appropriate for any councillor who felt particularly strongly to put in a personal response to the consultation, but making it clear that it came from them as an individual rather than from the council itself. But I suggested it came back to full council in case anybody felt that it was vital that there was a full council response. But the reality is, as Emma says, we would have to reply within about the next 4 hours or thereabouts, some of which will be taken up with the rest of this potentially rather long meeting. So unless somebody is going to start drafting it during the course of the meeting, I rather suspect there won't be an Oundle Town Council response.
Just I think that we didn't find any great disagreement what was in there, did we? I think
No.
the previous considerations, and therefore there's nothing to be lost by us not giving a response.
And we all used the phrase that we'd ploughed through it. There's an awful lot of words that didn't really amount to much.
All right. So I'm happy to leave it, you know, that we don't do an Oundle Town Council response, and that's, you know, based on the considerations we've already given the document, which essentially said on second reading it wasn't so bad. You know, first time some of the people read it, they weren't quite happy with it. Okay. Right, the next one then was about the adoption of new councillors, which, you know, for Rebecca and a few others that had applied, you know, what the situation we were in a couple of months back was that we were missing some of our meetings because we hadn't got enough people. You know, we had 1 volunteer, then we had 7 volunteers, which would have meant that we would have had to rule out people, and we didn't actually want to do that. So my view on this one, and it's open to the full consideration, is that at the moment, you know, we'll struggle on with what we've got, you know, but we do need as each to stay on, rather than rejecting anybody at this time, because we seem to have quite a few good candidates. Jerry.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that was very much my view as well. I have read the response from Danny Moody in terms of advice about whether or not we should co-opt. And I do take those points on board, but I do think the rules under normal circumstances do need to be tempered by a little bit of thought about the current situation. And it's not like we can meet in person with people. It's not like we can have discussions about what's involved in being a councillor. You know, his advice was that, I mean, we've had vacancies for months and months and months, never mind the 6th of November, it goes way back. But the reality is that until very, very recently, we've not had anyone putting themselves forward to be a councillor. We're not in a position to co-opt anyone on tonight. You know, I don't think it would be unreasonable to do it when people haven't been asked to attend and give their presentation. The earliest we could do it, therefore, is January, which means the earliest they could then really participate would be February. Well, you know, we're then 2 months before April.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I take Danny's advice on board, but I haven't changed my opinion, which is I think it would be far, far better for us to encourage any of those who are interested in joining the council to attend meetings between now and April. And Rebecca, it's great that you're here. I really appreciate that. And I really hope you will stand for election in April. But I think it would be better to invite people to come along, join the meetings, participate as well. I mean, there's no reason why they can't contribute to the meetings. I know there are rules about how much they can do, and they can't vote, obviously. But you know, we can get them along, and then have a proper election in April. I think that would be far, far better.
Thank you. We've got David and then Malcolm.
Yeah, I was just effectively, I agree with Jerry. I was a little surprised actually when I read what Danny Moody said, because I hadn't appreciated that on the face of it, technically, as all the vacancies I think possibly occurred before the 5th of November, and
Yeah.
if not all of them, certainly all bar one, it looks as if we're duty bound to progress it. But as Jerry says, the reality is the very first date that any co-opted councillor could attend a meeting is in February. They will then attend 3 meetings and will be into the May elections.
Yeah.
I would prefer on that basis to go along with the way that Jerry has suggested, unless the clerk advises us that we simply can't do that, in which case we're going to end up having to go through a contested election in January.
Yeah. Okay, Malcolm?
Well, I was going to say exactly the same thing. It looked like we're obliged to people. It's daft, but so I don't know how we handle it. We're obliged to do it. How do we not do it?
Well, sorry, Val. Yes.
Well, I was going to say I agree with what everybody said so far, and I think it would be very healthy to have an election anyway.
Yeah, but an election in the on the normal cycle.
The May election, yeah. Yeah, I know. Having seen what Danny's written, I do understand where he's coming from. If you've got vacancies, you've got people who want to come forward, you should actively be trying to fill those vacancies. But I do think because of where we are now, and it's not like, I mean, I know we had a period through the lockdown where we weren't looking to co-op, but we hadn't got the people coming forward then. I think coming along to meetings, to a few meetings leading up, would just give people a more of an idea of the sort of talk about what we do, how we come to our decisions, and any information that they want to have a look at. I'm happy to forward information. I think it's better to do that than people have an idea of what they're signing up for.
Yeah, to just use this period of time, participate in our conversations. Yeah. You know, so Rebecca, you can chip in whenever you want. I do realise that you've got rid of one of your family in that process there. But yeah, so let's continue like this then, that we invite them along to join, you know, and join the discussions. And you know, just take it month by month.
Yeah.
And if one councillor's got to go to prison, then I'll go to prison. You know, and you know, the food's free. You do get considerable tax breaks for it. Rupert, sorry, Val, and then Rupert.
I'm not sure that people can just come along and join in the discussions. There are rules about it.
Yeah, there are rules, but what you could decide as a council, you can either decide to temporarily close your meeting if you think
I mean, that's what I mean.
the value. So you can temporarily, you know, suspend your meeting for that short period of time and let that person speak, then carry on with your meeting.
Absolutely. You can't just come and join in willy-nilly.
Yeah.
No, all right then. So we've got Rupert and then Jerry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First of all, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Provided that the town council have enough councillors to continue, quorate, and in particular to be able to carry a budget before the April-May elections, I'm very content for you to go ahead on that basis, while allowing, at the chair's absolute discretion, to allow some limited participation by onlookers.
Yeah, so that's really Val's point
Mr.
there.
Mayor's discretion, as advised by our learned clerk.
Saying the same thing again.
Yeah, thanks, Rupert. And Jerry?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, basically. So you've got, Rebecca's got the opportunity to contribute in the interested parties bid, and it's the chair's discretion to invite her to say a few words at any point.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, well, thank you, Rebecca. You can stay there then, and you know, when you put your hand up like that, I will stop the meeting. You can talk.
Thank you.
Okay, so just on that, then I think we're all happy that we carry on this way.
Continue as we are.
You know, and you know, it's very much because we've got such good candidates now come forward, and it's a lovely position to be in, to have especially residents from Oundle. Now, I've mentioned this before. I do appreciate the non-residents from Oundle, their contribution. But it's good to have people from the town coming forward as well. So we'll have a bit of fun in May, and hopefully we can get you all to the council. Right. Consider the proposal from E&C for all town councils area to have a shop at Rushton.
Yes, I went to have a look at this on Friday, and it was quite impressive. It's a small unit next to the cinema, and it used to be a cafe. So half of it at the back has been taken over by a group called Made in Northamptonshire, and they're selling all local produce. They've got it laid out. And then the front part of the shop is East Northampton's enterprise team, and they're only just starting up. But what they're going to be having, they're inviting lots of their partners, recruitment agencies, and people, business consultants, that sort of thing, to help businesses, help anybody that needs any assistance, and people that are looking for jobs as well. In the new year, they've got a banner up for us, as with all the town councils. And in the new year, if we want to, we can, if we've got something we want to promote, we can go along, have it for, say, a Saturday morning or a day in the week, and we can promote whatever we want to. So it was quite impressive.
And is there any cost to us? All right.
No.
Well, now we're interested.
But I think what's going to happen is, because this is an empty unit, maybe when a retailer wants to come in and have it, they out. But then if there's another empty one, then they'll be able to go into the next empty one.
David Fuller.
Well, I think it's a wonderful opportunity. I think we should make use of it. We've been talking about marketing Oundle, and definitely Rushton is a place where you'll get people from a wide area to come in. So I'm all for it. I just think we need some form of strategy. Could be part of the communications, Ian, where we work together and do something on that. Because I do feel this is the sort of an opportunity you can't lose. And we've been always talking about tourism and trying to get people to come to Oundle. I noticed that Laxton Junior School have put out a QR code thing or something like that around town. This is something that I also want to do with the town, to make a place not just to visit for shopping, but to visit to enjoy the amazing building that we. So that's my piece. But yes, we should go for it.
Yeah. Sorry, Jerry, did you end up there?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I do think it sounds really good, but I do think we ought to make sure we're using Ian and Adult Business Association to work together on it. If we're going to do it, we need to be coordinated with the rest of the guys who are doing this sort of thing.
Okay, Ian.
Emma's kept Paul and I from OBA very informed about everything. Paul and I were talking about it on Saturday, so yeah, very happy to push things forward as we see fit. I might try and pop in on Thursday on my way through and Rushton's in by then. And it might be helpful having someone who knows how to design, I don't know, stages, things like that, maybe around to help something. What I read.
Well, I'm particularly interested in the business association, and making sure that they possibly at the front of what we're doing there, because in terms of promoting, they're the most obvious ones to get a benefit from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Clive.
I've taken some pictures, so I'll upload them and so you can see. Have a look at them.
Just a couple of things. I mean, it's a great idea. We need to do it because we've still got in the pipeline. We've still got all our thoughts about the festival, what's going to happen when it all comes back again. Promoting the town. There's much there, but who's going to man it?
Yeah. Okay. And that's why I'm keen the business association get in there. Okay, Jerry.
That's a really good point, Clive, about the festival as well, because I mean, the festival are still there in the background, and I'm sure they'd be love to be involved in it as well to promote the festival.
Yeah.
But is it who's going to sit there? Does it need someone to sit there, or?
Yeah, well, potentially. I mean, I don't mind doing it. I don't mind going over for a half day or a day or whenever. depending on what we've got.
If it's just a one-day event thing, ideally you want someone from the festival, someone from the business association, someone from the OTC, don't you? And you know,
the appropriate
sure
person. So,
if it's a one-day thing, I'm sure there'll be volunteers to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how often we can have it at the moment because it's all relatively new. I mean, maybe
so the initial feedback is go for it, and let's work it out, and
Yeah.
let's make sure we keep the business association, the Oundle Festival, and all the other sort of exciting parts of the town, clearly in there.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Consider the proposal for your town centres.
Yeah, this is again something that's come from these the meetings that I have every fortnight. First of all, started sort of COVID related, and we still do talk about things like that. But the business enterprise group are really trying to push and help all the town centres for all the towns within the East Northants area. And this is another initiative. I think I sent you a copy of the presentation. First parts of the proposal, I think up to phase 3, is East Northants Council are going to pay for that. So we can have this consultant come over, he can speak to various people in the town, have a walk around, put together a plan. And then if we want to pursue that plan, then I have to get some sponsorship money towards it. But
well, let's go that first one, but Jerry?
Yeah, sorry to meet you again, but I think it looks good, but I think, again, we need to liaise very, very closely with OBA because it cuts across to some extent what's coming up in the finance bit about a grant application for them to do a sort of similar thing. So there, we don't really want 2 consultants and 2 people doing the same thing, which I think there's a danger of at the moment. So I think, for me, we need to take this to OBA, say, how does this fit with what you're doing, and just make sure we're not spending the same money twice.
Yeah, okay, Ian?
Again, Emma's been very good at keeping OBA informed already, and I chatted with Paul the other day, and I think both of us, from what we could see in the presentation and their website, it looks like they organise a 5K run and take some money for it. I'm sure it's much more complex than that, but Paul's point, I think, and I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying this, is that we already can do that. As you say, we're already touching lots of that, and there are lots of people in Oundle that are change makers, as the presentation pushed, and maybe we don't need any more. But to support Emma's point, if it's something for nothing, getting some views from them might be interesting. And it would certainly be something the council and the business association could do together.
All right, so let's do the first bit that's free. And we very much with OBA, in the front pews there.
Okay, yeah, I've got to let them know tomorrow whether we want. You're happy for me to say
we'll do the freebie.
There's no obligation. Okay. There's no obligation.
No obligation.
Right, and then consider a donation to for the donating our old computers to volunteer action.
Yes, we upgraded our computers at the beginning of the year, laptops, and Liz from Volunteer Action came to speak to me because her IT guy had said that they're newer than what they're using, and would we be interested in passing them on to them. I did speak to Blue Moon, our IT support team, and they said, obviously the hard drive in it, we need to have that and it needs to be removed. Blue Moon don't do it, and I did start looking to other other companies that will do it, but there is a charge with that. However, his name's Rupert, the guy who does the IT for Volunteer Action. He will remove the hard drives. I will be there watching him remove the hard. This is what Blue suggested. I monitor it. He gives them to me, and then he takes the computer away.
Well, I'm very happy with that, Val. And then
well,
Dave.
I'm very happy. as part of volunteer action because, of course, more of our people who give out the drives and link people up are having to work from home, and we were short of computers too. So
Okay.
that's brilliant.
So
Absolutely.
that was you declaring an interest there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'll just write that one down.
If you could, yeah.
Sounds very sensible, and
Okay.
no problems with that at all.
All right. So nobody's got any objections to it, you know, with the condition that you're saying, Emma, that you will supervise the removal of the hard drives.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Financial matters then. Bank reconciliation. I'm just flicking to the top of the page. God, there's a lot of this. So has anybody got any concerns that since we've already done this in the finance meeting? David, and then Jerry.
Well, it's not so much a concern, just an observation. But given that the hub has not been trading for some considerable time, can we not alter our agendas so that we don't keep seeing the words hub trading account pop up in the documentation we're going to observe?
Yeah.
Yeah, good one. Yeah, Jerry.
I was just going to say it doesn't really relate to this period, but doesn't come up anywhere up in the agenda, I don't think. We've completed the financial checks for the first quarter of the year, and we're on with the second quarter. So the verification councillor is now me for the time being, as agreed, and you know, I'm plowing through all this stuff. So I haven't got to this bit yet, but I am doing it.
I do appreciate that, Jerry. You're really becoming a bit of a one-man band now for us.
No, well, sorry, but I'm not trying to play my own trumpet. I'm just saying there is someone looking at it.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got a vote on that then. Can I propose that we approve them? And then we've got Val seconded it and all the hands are going up there. Anybody opposed to it?
Mhm.
No. Okay, then. Thank you. And then the payments for November. Again, we've been through this before. Has anybody got any problems? No. Okay, then. So I'd propose the payments. The seconder, yeah, Jerry. And then all those in favour. And nobody against. That's fine. Thank you.
Okay.
Budget and precept then. Emma, it was a little bit worrying that we with that that error in the what we thought we had.
Yes,
You know, so,
I know.
but fortunately we hadn't baked that into
Haven't
any of our
committed it.
considerations. So
I think it just it maybe sort of teaches us. We don't normally think about that figure and that sort of proposed figure from East Northants Council, and it just makes you think that perhaps we shouldn't think about it when we're setting our budget, because you know, I would have hated us to have ended up with a 14% increase on the precept when we didn't think we were going to, you know. So
no, you know, it was a point. You know, when something doesn't look right, you sort of got to ask those questions, haven't you, Malcolm?
Yeah.
Well, I did have a look at the site yesterday, at the East Northants site. It's still showing the wrong figure. So I don't know if there are any implications in having adopted that figure, if they have done, all the previous years, for the amount of money they charge our residents. So that's the basis, as I understand it, for setting the community charge. So I think Paul will have a look at that aspect and see if our residents have been paying a correct amount of money, or if they've been asked for too much. It would be actually.
Yeah, I think when East Northants Council will out with all the information you will all get in your household, so it's worth checking it from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's still showing the wrong amount, and by one figure by the other, it gives a different figure to the ones we were getting. So
yeah, okay. So we have debated this several times now, but is everybody happy now with the proposal for get my years right, 21-22?
Yes.
Yeah. So do we need to
Put
take
anything up on the screen, or
Sorry?
do you want me to put it up on the screen to look at, just so that we can see the final figures?
Does everybody need that, or are you seeing it in your packs?
I'm looking at it. I'm seeing it now.
You okay?
Yeah.
I think it's just worth, recording the highlight, which is basically we're holding the precept as
Zero.
zero, and we're trying very hard to make sure that we do everything we can to support people in Oundle during these very difficult times. And I think that's the basis on which we've created the budget, isn't it? And I think that's just worth mentioning.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just on my words, not keeping the precept at zero, we'll be keeping the precept rise at zero.
Could be one for the
Yeah.
Ian?
Councillor Reichel spoke about the draft Northampton budget consultation, and I got the link yesterday and went through it all. And it looked like there were quite a few significant rises in the council tax around the new authority. And I was just thinking, depending on how that draft process goes through in the next couple of months and any changes are made, would that have any implications or changes on our budget, or are we totally self-standing?
That shouldn't have any impact on our precept, what we're applying for, because in the scheme of the money, it's quite low what we're asking for. The only, today when I was at the new council briefing, I was just reminded that we're obviously going to East Northampton Council once the budget's approved and our precept figures approved. That information will go back to East Northampton Council this week, but when the first payment is paid, that will come from the North Unitary Council, the new council. So hopefully it'll be a smooth journey through.
Yeah, I love the words hopefully. All right. I mean, the biggest one on that point is if they disown a part of their current responsibilities. I mean, I know that verges were one of the we've mentioned in the past.
Yeah.
We can't do any more than we've done to date.
No.
We've got a budget there. So with that, I'd like to propose that we accept this budget. We've got a seconder. We've got Val as a seconder. And all those in favour? Yeah, they've got all the hands there. That's lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, to approve the quote for replacing the preschool door. This was steel or plastic, was it, Emma? The two choices?
Yeah, we've had major issues with the door that we've got at the moment. It doesn't close properly, and it impacts on the alarm. So we desperately need to replace it with something that's fit for purpose.
Yeah.
Is this the outside door?
Yes, it's the outside door that goes out into the little
into the playground
area.
So unless anybody's got a view on the subject, I'm quite happy to leave it to Emma to choose which of the two. I think aesthetics are probably as important as anything else, in not making the building looking too industrial.
Yeah.
So, I thought the plastic one was possibly blend in better. There's not a fat lot difference in pricing, was there?
No, there's not a huge amount of difference between the prices. I think one's 1,400, 1,500, and one's nearly 1,400.
Yeah. So has anybody got any input on that one, or we just leave it to Emma?
No, hang on a minute. One's about two.
The steel one's a lot more, isn't it? With fitting and delivery.
We need to include on the second quote the 450 to install it.
And VAT.
So you've got one under 2,000 and one at 1,400.
Oh, okay, right. So the steel one was 2,000, was it?
Yeah, the second one.
Okay. Well,
My only question,
go on,
and I'm sure it's all really approved or whatever, is does the plastic fire door work? Does it not melt at some point, or are they allowed plastic fire doors?
I think they are allowed.
Yeah.
There is a 20-minute, they normally have to be a 20-minute fireproofing, but all we need to do is make sure that it is compliant for a fire door, don't we? Yeah. So just double check that one, Emma.
Yeah.
I do believe, you are allowed them, but they have to have 20-minute fire resistance. I mean, as you see in many places, the fire doors are wooden.
Yeah, within the building, inside, all the fire doors are wooden.
Yeah. All right then. So Emma, it looks like the plastic one then, but do double check on the.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Do we need to vote on that, Tony?
Do you all agree?
Yes.
Yeah. Do we need to vote
I'll
or-
propose it then. We've got a
Okay.
quick seconder and then a vote. Yeah. So you put it in as the seconder.
Yeah.
All those in favour. Thank you. Emma, sorry, just to want to go back on one that I hit on before, and I'm not sure where it comes up, is the debtors.
Yeah.
We had the lawn tennis. Is the lawn tennis group there down as a debtor? Are they a long paying debtor, or am I misreading it?
It's Lawn Farms, I think.
Oundle Lawn Tennis Club. And it looked to my mind that they were £2,000 in debt.
Yeah, that's their current invoice. That's current.
Yeah, okay. So we haven't got a problem there.
That's their rent.
Yeah, we don't have a problem with them then.
No, because it's in the current column, so they've received.
Yeah, it was an age debtors analysis. The only thing I was thinking is if they were in problems, they can write to us, obviously.
Yeah, I expect that will come in.
Okay, Malcolm?
Well, I just think you should just look at the last columns of those charts.
Yeah.
I mean, give people a chance to collect the money.
Yeah, okay.
So,
All right. Sorry to go back on that one. It was just one I noticed earlier.
That's okay.
Right. Consider and approve the communications party purchase of a camera. This got a bit complicated for me, so I've lost the plot on it because we've got iPhones and mobile contracts and all sorts in it. Ian or Emma, tell me.
I don't know. Did you want to say anything, Ian? Or
Yeah, I started this a while ago. The video that came around from the school about the Remembrance Sunday, I thought was pretty high quality. And when we were planting some trees a few weeks ago, I saw the device, and I imagined it was a big shoulder-mounted beast, and it's a little tiny matchbox thing. And it just struck me that for a pretty small amount of money, for the council to have one that we could live stream town meetings, future remembrance things, the sort of thing that even post-COVID we're going to want to do more often. Seemed a good idea. Clearly, a mobile phone's got to go with it, and there's lots of information there. I don't know if it has to be an iPhone or if we could go for a cheaper 64 or 128 gig Samsung or even a Chinese mobile that would do the job.
I think it's just a smartphone.
Yes, I mean, I was looking quickly earlier and I could find them for anywhere up from 100 and something up to 250, or a 599 for a high quality 128 gig pixel that I'm sure would excite Mr. Fuller no end. But I thought there might be better phones for some of the money. But the idea of buying a camera just seemed a bit of a no-brainer if we're going to keep communicating.
So if we wanted to take a vote on a budget, sorry, David, do you want to come in?
It's just worth noting that the £120 devices will not give you what you want, and the ones that will give you are things like iPhones, etc. So if you want the really good quality, they really are much better than they ever have been. It's worth spending the extra money to make sure that you have the quality you need. So it's either a high-end Samsung or an iPhone, and they'll do. I mean, you can go for super duper ones. The LGs do 120, whatever it is, but it's also making sure you understand how it.
So this is how I'm misunderstanding the story then, because I understood we were having a camera to do the filming and then the phone was just to transmit it.
That's right.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter about the transmission then. Any phone will do.
Yeah. Okay.
But I thought you were talking about cameras on phones. If you're going to
Yeah,
have a
no,
separate,
it's just having it.
The camera is separate.
All right. So, you know, if we were to approve a budget now, what's the budget that we need to approve?
how much is the camera?
The camera's 339. Now, you can approve. We can buy the camera, and I'm happy for my phone to be used when it's being used. But obviously, that means I've got to be there. The only problem that Rebecca has, if she's dealing with it, she has all of my messages and everything pinging up while she's using.
You want a separate. You want a separate phone. You want an.
So yeah, ideally we do want a separate one, but we can look into other costs for the phone.
Yeah. So it sounds to my Jerry. Go on.
The only thing I was going to say about the phone was, I think probably most people have experienced that the coverage is not great in Arundel. So the network you're on, I mean, I'm on EE, which is pretty good, but you know, it depends where you are in the town, because at some parts of the town it's not, and other parts it is, and I think the same with all the other networks.
Yep. All right, Ian.
The key thing seemed to be, as I understand it, the camera, you can take the footage and then go back and edit it anywhere. But if we wanted to live stream something, say from the Queen Victoria Hall, you could use the Wi-Fi there.
Okay.
Outside, we might need to do something on the network. But again, that might be something that Rebecca could look into in the next few months.
Yeah.
All right. So do you want to do it in 2 bits then?
Yeah, I was going to say, should we just try the camera now, and we can try with our own phone, and then go for the phone.
Okay. So we're happy then to approve £350 nominally for the camera. David, is that you?
I'm proposing or seconding. I'm happy with that.
All right then. So David proposed, Ian seconded, and all those in favour? Right, full house. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Right, grant application from the Business Association. This Jerry raised earlier. Yeah, we've talked about it elsewhere. I think it's a good idea that we need to support these people. You're really enthusiastic at the pace at which they can get at things. So has anybody got any other questions on this, or can we just move it forward? No. Okay then. So I'd like to propose then. Got a seconder from Ian, and then all those in favour. That's lovely. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm having a few connection issues at the moment. I keep dropping in and out.
You want to try EE? It's a better system, apparently.
You just agreed to do some more things.
That's the problem when you drop out.
Yeah. Right. Receive the Pension House annual review and the governance report. No, I was quite fascinated by the review myself. The pensions have done very well there. So, yeah, I wish I'd invested some of my money with where these people had. Yeah. Anybody got any input on that? I mean, Emma, this is your future, obviously. Is there?
Well, this one isn't actually my pension. This one. This is the Viva pension. Mine's the local government pension.
All right, you got the other one, have you?
So, yeah.
Okay, Ian.
I suppose just 2 questions. One is do those people are they happy with the performance? And secondly, if they wanted to have a choice about where the fund was invested, do they have a choice?
It's the council has made the decision that their pension is with Aviva. I
was meaning which fund that Aviva offer.
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know what information they receive directly.
No. Well, the reason I was going to ask you, Emma, is it is good, as Ian's point there, is to make the guys aware of what it is, and you get any input from them back to ourselves if we're not happy with it.
Yeah, I'll ask them because they do get all the information directly to them. So I'll ask them if they've received it first of all, and then if they've got any questions.
All right, and then Val.
Well, I was just going to say, at the time, as I was present, we had the presentations and all the staff were there, and everything was done absolutely with full communication, I would have said. Yeah,
I think it, to my mind, it all looked very good, but it's worth checking with people every now and then.
Yeah.
There was one of the funds that I just worried about you've got an issue here on ethics, is because it's the staff's pension, it's them that really have to, sort of say that it's invested rightly for them.
Absolutely.
If it was Oundle Town Council, we might not be investing in British American tobacco.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I did notice that as part of the fund, that it is their money, not ours. So, you know, just that, you know, we should not, you know, come in here and say change it. Okay, so we've received that one then. On to the planning matters. David, over to yourself. Anything you want highlights?
No, I think the minutes are relatively self-explanatory. You can see there were a number of applications and quite a lot of comment. But unless anybody's got any questions on those minutes, I suggest we just move on.
Okay then. Anybody got any questions then? No. Right, moving on, the response from ENC to Councillor Mercer. If you've read that, you know, so now it's a case of, you know, do Oundle Town Council want to do anything with it, or just, you know, I will carry on as a resident, you know, my bit, but if the Town Council want to do any more, speak now, otherwise we just move on. Okay.
I think you're doing the best way forward, Tony.
Well, it's sad, but the ombudsman has said that he will not protect town councils.
I think all we can do is wait for the full planning and then put our representations in there, isn't it, really, at this stage?
I think it's going to come down to that, Jerry. Yeah. Okay then, so, you know, I saw the letter from the Titchmarsh Council. A very sad situation they've got there, and especially, you know, because the church is involved in it.
Yeah, same again, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if we're aware of anything else they want us to do.
I think, well, unless, well, I think it's sort of going to be down to when that application goes in, I should imagine.
Yeah. Okay. So that's received. And then the letter from the St. Peter's Road regarding access to Coscote Road development. So, David, have you got a response you feel that we ought to do on this one? Or are you declaring an interest? You're no longer a resident, you can't. Yeah.
I haven't been a resident there for over 5 years, so I think I can probably safely engage in it. Having said that, I am still trying to see if I can come up with any definitive answers around about this potential strip of land between the highway and the actual land that's the subject of the development, to see if indeed there is any prospect that it's actually vested in somebody other than the owners of the field. And I hoped I'd have it sorted out before tonight, but unfortunately pressure of work means I haven't. What I will do, if councillors are happy with it, is see if I can come up with something, and then perhaps if I can feed it back to Emma, Emma could liaise with the writer of the letter, or indeed put the writer of the letter in touch with me, perhaps with a view to the council progressing this if we think that there is actually mileage in it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we should support progressing it, but, you know, do that bit of research.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, thank you, David. Communications then.
Yeah. Not me.
Ian, you've done an absolutely sterling job. I mean, you've seen, you've changed comms, in your period there, and you know very much it's a one-man band. So
it's multi-person now.
Yeah.
Just turn Fuller off. Turn him off so he can't see him. No, thank you to David for stepping up and the input you've had. It was nice. I had a bit of a blank space for the advertiser recently, and you've helped me fill that in really well. And thanks to Emma and Rebecca and Lisa for all the work they do too. I mean, I sent the email around. I think and the conversation about the advertiser and Oundle Life is the next point down. But just to report back, the cameras clearly, hopefully, a positive thing for the future. We've had good contacts with OBA and QI about the new website, and we had a long meeting. Was that last week or this week? They all blur.
Last week, the 8th. Yeah.
And I got really excited going through Oundle Info a few days ago, rather sadly excited. And yeah, lots of stuff will come of it. I think the timescale is, you know, maybe not quite as quick as we want, but that's the nature of the business. And hopefully we'll have something by the beginning of the new financial year, and hopefully in terms of, you know, when we're all hopeful things will get better, and maybe to link up with the shop at Russian and everything else. There are also some really positive conversations with staff at the school about the idea of working on the walking app and the history of it, and linking up with the radio station that Fuller started, etc., etc. So there's lots and lots of cross-fertilization going on. Lots of people are very interested. It's Christmas, but you know, in January I'm sure it'll all get busy again. But at the moment, hopefully that we're getting our message out to people in the town as best we can, and looking forward to a new way of doing things next year. Is that about fair?
Very positive.
It is. Yeah, it's a great feedback, and you know, we are seeing a lot of these things coming along now. That leads us on to the next one about Oundle Life, doesn't it?
Yeah. Do you want me to say something on that?
Yeah, go on, because they've got a budget, haven't they? They want to work to. Go on.
Yeah, I think the more I've thought about it, I think Oundle Life looks great, but you know, its lead times are very long, and the advertiser, they're holding their press in a sort of Orson Welles style moment as we speak, waiting for our text this evening. And that's going to be on people's doorsteps in 2 or 3 weeks. So that's really good for us, putting messages out as quickly as we can. Having the Oundle Life, which is available perhaps further afield and for a longer period of time in shops, made me think that maybe this idea of doing something there every 2 or 3 months is a bit more of a focus on particular issues seemed a good halfway house, and using both of them sort of to move towards the Oracle becoming more of a maybe once a year record of things. But that was my thinking. Keep going with the advertiser and use the Life in, you know, every couple of months to put something big forward.
Yeah. Okay, David.
I'm fully behind that, but I also think we should be using it as a marketing tool. Bearing in mind, it's not just going to Oundle. It's unlike the Oracle, which sticks to Oundle. This is a wider distribution. So it's talking to our community, but actually in the local community, we should be making sure we use it. It's been used as promotion anyway, but actually focused on what we do with everything else. I think that's where it should go.
Okay, Ian.
I think that's absolutely right, but I think that's where the Love Oundle brand that we're hoping to push forward with the new website and the walking app and everything else will come in with that. And that's also where the shop in Rushton Lakes perhaps will come forward. So, and we're looking with the OBA about using the brand website and the brand itself in sort of 2 linked up ways.
Joining the dots.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So, yeah, what Ian's put forward there is, you know, I think a prudent way with our budgets, you know, not to leap into everything, because we know with advertising you can keep on spending.
Yeah.
You know, unless anybody's got any objection to it, I think I would like to support Ian with what he's doing, you know, and say go on these quarterly with the Life one.
Absolutely.
Do you want to propose it, or was it just through?
Well, let me propose it, and then we'll second it from David, and then everybody in favour. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Lovely. Onward then.
We're getting there.
Right. Employment law newsletter. Riveting stuff.
Very interesting.
Riveting stuff.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So we're not doing anything wrong, are we, Emma?
No, not as far as I can see.
All right. Okay, then. Thank you. It's received. I'm just double checking nobody's got anything on that. Confidential matters then. So do we need to break out at this point and say goodbye to our...
we'd have to have a vote. We'll have to say goodbye to our guests.
Okay, then. Right.
Bye, guests.
Cheerio, Robert. Cheerio, Rebecca.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Happy Christmas.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Happy Christmas. More tinsel.
I know, so.
All right. So Emma, you've got the still got Robert. No,
No, he's gone.
Yeah.
I think Rupert went previously, did he?
He's not there now.
Yeah, I think so.
Not there now, is he? Yeah. So
He's
we'll
hiding
just-
in the.
if you can just have a vote on.
Right, so vote on us going to a
Do
private
we need to
session.
stop recording or keep recording?
I will stop. I will pause the recording.
Right, I'll propose that we go into a private session. We've got all those in favour. We've got a seconder from David, and then all those in favour. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Val.
Right. I'll just. Okay. We're back recording.
Okay then, so now moving on to other relevant matters for report only. Is there any going around the table? I'll go around this one, Ian.
I had conversations a while ago about that idea about doing something around the memorial after lots of chasing. I've heard back from NCC that they're willing to think about it a bit more. So not a huge amount of movement on that, but they're not against the idea of us thinking about something once they told us what we can think about.
Yep. Okay, and Jerry?
I don't think I tuned out, but I thought when reading through the papers there was something about one-way systems and office and East Road and congestion. I don't think we talked about it.
No, I raised the issue earlier that the situation at the top of St. Osyth's Lane had put an awful lot of traffic down South Road.
And East Road as well, but yeah.
Yeah, so and it is causing a lot of trouble. Now I don't know whether we do anything at this point in time, knowing that the situation with COVID and the post office and the pedestrian bit is temporary, but it is a good reminder that of how delicately balanced the town is.
Yeah, I mean my view would be. I mean, well, Tony and I both live next door, more or less, to each other. So we drive the same roads, the same, similar times, I suspect. I mean, my experience is that it's only a problem at the normal peak hours, school leaving and arriving times. My attitude would be live with it as it is for now. But yeah, I mean, it goes back to the things we've discussed many times in the past, which is, one day, is it inevitable we need a proper one-way system around Oundle? But probably not now. It's not the time.
No.
No.
I do know that South Road is particularly bad at the moment. So good, Clive, then Emma.
Just on that subject, is it worth letting highways know that the change in the traffic flow around the town is actually having a degrading influence on the road services, and it's something that they should be planning for in the future, because it's before it gets too bad, just a sort of a warning shot across their bows.
I don't know, because they've ignored every other one we've sent them.
Yeah, just to say, although it may be causing some other issues, what it is doing is its job. It's meaning people can go round that queue that's outside the post office.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I definitely.
So I just think we've got to live with it, and hopefully we won't have to live with it for another year or so.
Well,
Jerry.
I mean, I totally agree with you, Emma. And to be honest, I would quite happily live with it forever. But obviously, it would need to be a proper scheme. I mean, I think to be honest, I think at some point in the future we're going to have one way down St. Osyth's, and then one way or the other down East and South roads, and then the other way around at the top of town, because we can't just keep growing the traffic and not do something about it.
You can't do anything more than one way anyway, most of the time.
Yeah,
because it's all single lane roads.
Yeah.
To the parking.
Yeah, I just feel if it goes, say South Road is particularly bad. If it goes too much, we might need to ask them to put a, access only sign at the other end of South Road. But at the moment, just let it go.
Yeah. We've not had any complaints from anybody. We've not had anybody come to us and say, why the hell have you done this?
Yeah.
Although we just say it's highways.
Yeah. Continue around the table then, Clive.
I'd just like to say about the farmers market, how successful it was. I thought, amazingly so, and there was lots and lots of positives, lots of people standing, socially distancing, chatting, just being really. The only two comments, and I'll pass them on to Emma very quickly. I get a couple of comments from people saying, "Oh, why weren't the Christmas lights on in the daytime?" And well, yeah, they weren't on, so get on with it really. But it was a great success.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And Malcolm?
Well, talking about markets, the Thursday market, that's people who were non-essential stallholders have now come back in, like the Watchman and so on. And some, I don't know which ones, don't wear any masks, whereas we've hammered the other ones to wear masks. Are we going to do anything about that? Should they all?
Which ones are they that aren't wearing masks? Because they should have been told they've got to wear masks.
I can't remember which ones. I just saw them on there and they weren't. And I thought, well, nobody's told them because, you know.
They've all been told.
Okay. What about the Christmas, but the farmers market? Were they told to? Because they weren't. A lot of them.
Everybody's been told to wear masks.
Okay. Well, you might want to check up on both markets. A lot of people.
So it's probably time for a reminder that they're going to lose the market if we can't control it.
Send them out a reminding letter.
Yeah. Val?
Well, I've only got the farmers market too. I would say that probably half, I counted roughly, were not wearing masks of the stall holders. And they were coming round the side of their stall,
Yes.
like the lady on the fish counter, to get stuff from the front of the stall and stand right next to the customer.
They're normally really good. I've never
I know.
seen them without masks on.
Absolutely. But
All right. So Emma's got that one then.
Yeah, we'll just send a reminder out.
Yeah, thanks. David? Oh, David Chappell first and then Dave.
I can be very brief because I can't think of anything else to mention. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Same here.
And then you're the same there. All right, and David.
So I've just got one quick,
Yes.
one quick one on markets. We have got a market on Christmas Eve this year. We wouldn't have done it normally because obviously it's not every year that it comes around on a Thursday, but because we haven't got the choir in the marketplace, or the people to come in and sing in the marketplace, we're allowing that one to go ahead, but there won't be one on New Year's Eve, so we'll have New Year's Eve off.
Okay.
There's no singing allowed at that market.
No.
All right. Okay then. Well, thank you everybody. Sorry, where are we meetings between now and Christmas? Have we?
On here, you can meet on here if you like.
Yeah. No. Who's got meetings between now and Christmas?
No one.
No, that's it now.
In groups of
I've
6.
got a couple, but
Well, it won't be caught.
There's no council meetings though.
there's no council meetings. You're
Right. Now, next council
No.
meeting is which one?
sorry.
Presumably a planning meeting in first Tuesday in January, whenever that is.
I'll tell you the
That's
date.
the 5th. January
Alright.
the 5th.
Yeah, the 5th. That'll be the first meeting.
All right.
I
Okay.
would
Then,
like-
well, a Merry
Sorry.
Christmas to you all. Yes.
And to you.
And to you.
We're missing the pies and the Mr. Kipling cakes and all the things that we normally have at Christmas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
All right.
I'm having my COVID vaccine on Thursday.
Oh,
good luck.
ah.
We're voting now.
Hey, you're
Yeah,
not
you all
supposed to
know
give,
how old I am.
supposed to give your age away like that in council meetings.
Oh, well, I hope it goes all right.
Yes,
Yeah.
certainly.
Jerry's got another 30 years to wait for his. Yeah. Okay then. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thanks a lot then.
Happy Christmas.
Happy
Happy
everybody.
Christmas. Thank you.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.